Hi, I'm Jayprasad Krishnaraj. I'm going to speak about cloud computing security and, uh, and different types of clouds and what are the security issues it's been facing uh, for the past years. So this is the agenda: introduction, types of clouds, cloud infrastructure security, and cloud security and advanced cloud security challenges. Next slide is just introduction. So as you know, cloud is one of the favorite technologies that most of our companies moving because of the profit it provides and compared to implementing on-site database servers. And to say the word cloud refers to a simplified description of complex and interconnected equipments and links that makes up the internet. For example, there are different types of clouds such as private and public cloud subdivisions that are distinguished by their link to the business. The distinction between this private and public cloud are often known as internal and external clouds. It depends upon the cloud affirmation or to the company. So the next slide is what are the private and public clouds? So as you know, there are different types of clouds. In the public cloud, or we can say as a cloud computing in a traditional mainstream sense, in which resources are dynamically made uh, available on a fine-grained self-service premises or the internet or via web apps or online services from on-site, from off-site. Uh, in public clouds, it is like one cloud service which is offered by a vendor where different types of companies try to access the service. And as we see in the figure, public clouds are multiple companies trying to access it. And in the public cloud, third-party vendors are in charge of the public cloud service, offering responsibility for security management and day-to-day operations. As a result, the user of public cloud service has no control over supervision over the physical and logical security features of the private cloud. So as we see on the next part is the private cloud. Private cloud is a replicate of cloud computing of private network, as referred as replication of public network in a private network. So we can say it is as internal cloud as well as private cloud. These systems usually give benefits of cloud computing without the drawbacks such as leveraging concerns about data security and corporate governance and stability. Organization can acquire and create and operate them in various way, and therefore it reduces upfront capital expenditure and less hands-on management to do not, which helps them when compared to implementing on-site database servers. Private clouds, as we say, private clouds are different from public cloud from the network storage infrastructure and network. Private clouds can be dedicated. There are different types of private cloud which can be dedicated, community, and managed. In dedicated private clouds, those are housed by the custom-owned data center or a collection of sites and are managed by internal IT department. In community private cloud of those are hosted by someone else property and owned and managed, operate by the vendor, that is contained by a specific SLA or contractual provision that includes security and compliance requirement. And these features, and there's the last one which is called managed. The security management, our day-to-day operations for the host are often delegated to the corporate IT and third parties with contractual SLA, which is similar to the community servers, where private cloud operating models. In this, customers are in managed private cloud, customers may more easily adhere to establish corporate security standards, regulations, and regulatory compliance with such high level of control and transparency. And the next one is going to speak about hybrid cloud, which is combination of both public and private cloud. So an organization may choose implementing hybrid cloud because it includes numerous of internal and external providers. Organization can utilize an hybrid cloud to operate non-essential apps on public cloud while keeping programmers and sensitive data premises on private cloud, and which keeps them from other security issues such as breaches and from hackers getting in and trying to access their private and confidential data. And in other ways, cloud-based services are developing and a hurdle are being overcome and enables are being built. So it gives an company to have authority towards the data, and there is an issue with the cloud, that privacy issues, which keeps them assured that by using hybrid, it keeps them assured that data has been secure and authentic without any changes, and no one is taking a look at the private confidential data. Cloud-based services are developing hurdles in being overcome and enable are being built. So in trusting, for example, trusting a cloud service provider or individual information, both secure and confidential in key worries. Establishing their trust is a critical step in adoption of cloud computing in eternity, and there are following features that comes with hybrid cloud, such as infrastructure security, which provides more features, more secure way of communicating data within the organization as well as external. The next slide is going to be infrastructure security. The crucial distinction between public and private cloud when considering the infrastructure security as a network level, at the network level. For example, not for the example, there are new threats and weaknesses or increases in increase in the risk of information security employees must consider while using private clouds. And the current security infrastructure concerns to apply private cloud infrastructure as well. Furthermore, to speak about infrastructure security, the security tools you have are also required for a private cloud or work in the same way. A secure extranet, a private cloud, topological similarities. Assuming the security integrity of the company or the data, it travels from the public to the cloud provider, ensuring the effective of access control by the user or the organization, for example, authentication, authorization, and auditing to any resources. You can use your public cloud provider service. And another one is ensuring availability of internet facing the resources in public cloud that your business is using, or that your public cloud provider have allocated to your organization. Domains will take place of existing network, cloud zones, and entire approach. Next slide is cloud security. Every enterprise has a gradual moving towards a cloud from on-premise data center. And due to this COVID crisis, it made the result it made the transition more faster compared to the one before in 2019 and before year. The shift to the remote work environment, it's been increasing, and without proper implementation, without proper time of implementation, it opened for lots of security breaches that happened on the cloud. For example, as per the concerns of 2020 by the Checkpoint, security remains a key issue of cloud customer despite of continuing rapid adoptions of cloud computing. 75% of cybersecurity professionals confirms that very concerned about the public cloud security. A small increase for the last year cloud security survey. When you asked about the biggest security threat facing by the public cloud, organization ranked misconfiguration is part of cloud performance of 68% highest, from the third spot on the last year of survey. The following year just followed by unauthorized access, which is going to be 85%, 58%, if I think, and the insecure infrastructure is going to be 52%, and hijacking of account is 50%. And since the cloud security has been the future of most of the organization, and it need to be implemented properly and need to be monitored, and where the implementation need to be secure, because the fast implementation of cloud service, the fast movement of implementation towards a cloud service opened lots of breaches, as I mentioned before. And the next slide is going to be cloud security concerns. Okay, sorry. Cloud security concerns. As we see, cloud security concerns has been part of the organization when they move to the cloud security, and it's been part of the cloud for a long time. Customers, for example, customers are primarily responsible for safeguarding their workloads in the cloud, even though data lossage is, as we speak about in this picture, data lossage is 69%, and the data privacy and confidential is 66%, which has been the data privacy and confidentiality is be the top cloud security problems identified as per Checkpoint poll. And and concerns of unintentional credential exposure and incident response follows as by the 44%. And next slide is cloud security issues. So as we speak, it has more issues as we speak in this picture. Misconfiguration, as I mentioned before, misconfiguration has been major threat and major problem for the while moving to the cloud, because with a proper implementation and proper configuration, the hackers can able to exploit these misconfiguration and able to access confidential data and use ransomware to get ransom from the organization and data leakage, and it might shut down the company for a long time. So as per a security concern by Checkpoint as well as McAfee, the enterprise has selected misconfiguration as a part of the first priority that need to be to be faced. As we say, 68% is part of it, and the third place, which is going to be the 58% of unauthorized access, as we see, and in this picture we see 52% of insecure infrastructure such as APIs. And the next is going to be seeing cloud security challenges. Not only the issues which we face as we speak about the first slides, cloud security have more major issues, but they have security challenges too as a part of the implementation that cloud security engineer need to be aware of. So the first cloud security is increased attack surfaces. Hackers nowadays, there are lots and lots of zero-day exploits, account takeover, and a slew of other harmful threats that became a commonplace in cloud security. Hackers has been exploiting inadequately to protect cloud ingress ports to access and distribute the workload and data and access the data in the cloud. And another one is lack of visibility and tracking. So the lack of visibility and tracking has been for the it's been stick to the cloud security for the long time, because we don't have any access on seeing that the cloud service provider might take a look at the data that we've been stored without our knowledge of the organization. The lack of visibility and the control is a further extended and can be seen in IaaS model as well as PSSS and SaaS cloud models. And cloud customers often cannot effectively identify and quantify their cloud assets or visualize their cloud environment, because they don't have the full authority towards a cloud service which is being provided by the cloud service provider. And there's been always a red tag where we don't where the organization not allowed to get pass against it. And another one is granular privilege and key management, where we see cloud user roles are frequently configured and externally, right? Giving the database deleted and wire capability to inexperienced user or users with no business need to be deleted or added database assets. In a frequency example, improper set of key and privilege exposes sections to a security vulnerability at the application level can be a major issue, because improper key management or privilege exposure privilege can lead to a major issue of such as data leakage and data authenticity within the organization as well as external towards the organization. And complex environment methods and tools that work seamlessly across public clouds, the public clouds and private provider on on-premise development, including branch office, age protections of geological distributes and organization, such as using multi-cloud environment to favorize by the enterprises these days. And another issue is another issue with complex environment is configuring a cloud should be simple, and if it becomes complex and if the configuration is complex, it might be a major issue for troubleshooting as well as identifying the problems that occurs within the environment. And the next one, next one can be zero trust, which might be a solution for cloud security problems as well as other issues that occurs around the cloud computing. And before moving to a zero trust, there are like cloud compliance and governance must be well known among the engineers, such as certification schemes including PCI 3.2, NIST 800-53, HIPAA, and GDPR have been adopted by all of the major cloud providers. Customers, on the other hand, must ensure that their workload and data procedures are compliant. And the complaint audit process becomes a near impossible unless the technology or employed to do continuous compliance check within the organization as well as the cloud service provider to deliver real-time alert regarding misconfiguration, give a low visibility and dynamic in cloud environment. And the major solution for providing a solution to the issue is zero trust. To speak about zero trust was first invented by John Kindery, a senior Frost research analyst at the time, coined the term zero trust in 2019. Zero trust in the cloud is to verify and approve, inspect, and secure everything rather than trusting anybody within the cloud and outside the cloud too. Zero trust, for example, as we speak, advocates for at least privilege governance method in which users are allowed to access to resources. So zero trust is like providing users basic privileges to access and use the file for their work, and other accesses which are need to be given are like mostly inspected, and after inspection there are secure keys being provided to the user to access those files. To implement zero trust in an organization might take a long process, and implementing zero trust, you need to analyze what are the resources that basic resources for the user need to be needed for do general purpose works as per their role, and need to have a proper understanding of how organization works, as well as takes more than 2 to 3 years to implement zero trust. It's like zero trust, to put in simple word, zero trust solution is even though for example, even though the user is a part of an organization, we don't trust them and we don't give the key, and each and every time they enter the organization, they need to provide an authentication, authorization, and to use the file, as well as they're being monitored, and all the logs, which what they do is being logged for further use, for further purpose if there is a breach. And on developer side, developer also urges to ensure that web-facing apps are adequately protected. For example, if a developer does not regularly restrict support and implement permissions as required basis, a hacker who takes control on the program will have access to the database and will be able to obtain and edit data. We can also use segmentation in zero trust network, makes a cloud security even more granular. Segmentation separates the workload from other from one another, such as we can such as VLANs. We can separating the segments, for example, creating a separate network for accounting, separate network for security team, separate network for fraud, etc. And you can say it can have a separate VLAN where they don't have access to the other network. They only have access within the network, and even if the hacker gets into the network, they can't move from one network to another network. It can be segregated, and the threat can be minimized. And by doing microsegmentation separates the workload from one another, as well as secure everything inside the zone, applies policy to protect communication across the zone in data center and cloud deployment. And as we see, as I speak before, cloud has been a major technology that most of the organization is moving forward. And as a new intern, for new student and new employees are coming out of the college, it's better to have a proper understanding of what cloud is, and how is it secure or not, and what are the solutions that need to be used to provide a secure cloud service monitoring. And it's good to have enough knowledge towards a cloud, because since cloud has been the future of also of most of the IT, from where we see, as we seen during this crisis. Thank you.